Hi, Year 12. This is just another video to go with the groups data and histogram video that you've already got for exercise 9B. But what I want to show you on this one is how we can actually have a look at the data on the third page through, fourth page actually it is, for this example, number 9. So what you're doing is you're inputting your data and you're finding the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation. But this is actually something that we can do on our calculator as well. And I think that that might be something that's really handy for you to be able to do. So I'm going to show you how to set up your calculator to get that to work. Now, mine's already in stat mode, so I'm going to put mine into normal mode. So normally your calculator, and most of you have this Abacus, has a D for degree at the top. To do this sort of statistics over here that we want to do, we need to be in stat mode. So I'm going to press the mode button at the top here, and then I'm going to press number 2 for stat. And what that will do, will pop your calculator into a stat mode, but you need to decide whether you have one variable or two variables. Now, most of the data we're going to have a look at has one variable. So if you have a look up here on the table, we've got an X, and the variable is X, and the frequency column just tells us how many times each of those X's occur. So I'm going to pick 1 for one variable, and that will give you one column. However, we need 2. Now, before we get into that second column, just note that we're now in stat mode, and when we are out of stat, when we don't want the stat mode anymore, you need to remove that from your calculator. So what I want to do now is I would like to set up a second column in here, but not a second variable column. I want a frequency column. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to press the second button and then my mode button. Oops. What should happen when you press that second and then the mode, it enters the setup, and you will have something similar to what I have on my screen. Yours might be slightly different. But we need to scroll down using the scroll down here. And what we're going to do when we get and scroll down a little bit further, we're going to end up with different things on our screen like this. And I want to go to stat for number 3. And I want to turn the frequency on. So I want to go to number 1. And now what should happen if we've done it right, if I now go and press, whoops, my mode button here, and then 2 for stat, and 1, I should have now a frequency column inserted in here. If you don't have that, then let's try that again, replay the video, or come and see me. Okay, now we want to input this data. To input the data, what we do is I'm going to input this first row as a column over here. So I'm going to input the numbers 1 to 10. In order to do that, I need to press my number that I want to start with. I'm going to press 1 and then I'm going to press equals. Equals enters it. Don't worry about the frequency yet. We're going to fix that up. Then we press our next number, which is going to be 2 and equals. And every time I press equals, it enters that data. So let's quickly enter the first column of data. So I've entered and equaled into my memory here up to 10. And now what I need to do is use my arrows to scroll across and then go up to my first cell again. So up to number 1. And I'm now going to enter the frequency data. So 1, 3, 4. I'm going to do the same as I did before. We're going to press the number and press equals. So if you want to enter that, and once you've entered your data, you'll have it all in here. But what you need to do in order for it to work is once you've entered it, you need to go and press this AC button. And what it does is it removes your table, but pressing that AC has basically entered that data into your memory. It's stored within the calculator in stat mode at the moment. So now what we want to do is we want to use our calculator to find these things at the bottom, the X bar and the S. So what we need to do is we need to use the yellow writing above number 1, which says stat/var. To do that, I need to press my second function button and number 1. And this is what I end up with, all these things. Now what we want is number 4, their variance, var. That's the stuff that we want to calculate. I press 4, and here are the things we've got. X bar, here it is. If I press 2, and I need to, it's not equal to 0, we still have to enter it. You see there's a flashing bar there that's saying, well, I haven't pressed equals yet. Press equals, it's 6.3. That's what we've got there. Our calculator doesn't calculate s squared, it calculates s. So if we go and go second and 1 again, and go to var, which is number 4. Now, what we want to be careful of here is 3 and 4 are similar but different. This is our population standard deviation, and this S here is our sample standard deviation. What we want to calculate here is we want to calculate our sample. We've just got a sample of numbers here. So if I press 4 now, I will get a number that is hopefully the one that I want. Oops. And now that's not the number on the screen. I need to press equals. That's the old number. It's 2.45. Now that's slightly different to what we got here as a number. Now ours should be more accurate, but there is a slight difference. Now if we were to square that number, that will give us the number here. So this is another way to calculate our information, and that's something that you may find quite handy to use. So I would probably make sure that I can do that. What should happen is if we just clear that off the screen and we put our calculator back into normal mode, if I just go mode and number 1, or to get it back into normal mode, you could go second and number 9, and that will clear everything from our memory. And in doing that, probably what's happened, let's double check and see if it's actually cleared the frequency mode or the frequency column in our calculator. So if we were now to go mode, let's go mode and number 2 again and 1, it's cleared the actual frequency column. So if we want that frequency column again, we need to go second mode, scroll down, 3 for stat, frequency on, and it's there. So just note how to do the frequency column as well and practice popping that into your calculators.